Okay, friends, today I am going to talk to you about something which a lot of candidates want to know about is what is the effect of my background as far as the SSB interview and selection is concerned. So there is a fear in many candidates, that our communication skills are weak. We are from a Hindi medium background or even from an English medium background school, but English was not very much spoken in our school, and therefore we are weak in English. Or we are from a village school which did not have any facilities for our growth as far as sports or extracurricular activities were concerned. We have poverty or very poor socio-economic background, and therefore could not really be exposed to so many things which city children are exposed to, and also that there is no exposure to defense in our family, so therefore we have really no idea about the army, navy, or air force. But now, having chosen the armed forces as a career, and now that we are going to undergo the SSP test and the interview also, along with the psychology test, so is our background going to make a big difference? Is it that because of our underprivileged background that we may not be successful in the SSB interview? Now, these apprehensions are natural and is felt by a lot of candidates. But let me tell you that SSB caters for this. Now, when the interviewing officer is interviewing you, he has read your PIQ, he has seen your background, which you have filled in the PIQ. Now, he has to make certain assessments based on what performance you give and what is your background. Now, for example, he finds a person from a very deprived background, but the candidate has worked very hard to achieve whatever he has or she has. The marks are very good. The candidate has performed wherever given an opportunity. He has shown desire to grow and desire to achieve something in life, despite being from a very deprived background. So, all these factors are going to be taken into account by the interviewing officer. Now, let's take firstly the communications. Now, candidate may be from a Hindi background or non-English speaking background, but if he can reasonably or she can reasonably well communicate in English and put across their ideas with ease and clarity, I think that will speak a lot from the effort put in by the candidate. Yes, at a few places the candidate may get stuck, but one must remember that if by and large the performance in English language is okay, then this language is a highly trainable subject. And with training in the academies, it is bound to improve. So, key is practice. If you find that your communication skills are weak, then the candidate must practice as much as possible. He must practice his lecturates, group discussions. We should be reading the newspaper every day in English. We should be, in fact, reading it aloud, watching the English news on television, reading various articles on the internet, and gradually over a period of time, you will find that the communication skills are improving. It may not happen overnight. So, if your communication skills are weak, Start early, much before your SSB. Start at least 6 months prior to your SSB and make sure that your communication skills by the time you get to the SSB are much improved. To that end, you can see some English movies and try and talk to your friends as much as possible in English. Now, as far as games and sports are concerned, children from villages may not be exposed to the games like cricket, hockey, or games normally played in the city. But definitely, all of them would have played games like kabaddi, kho, wrestling, etc. at some stage of their life. So, even if you have played these village games and rural games, after all, the idea is to judge your physical fitness and whether you are a team man or not. So, if you can convince the interviewing officer that you are physically fit, I do not see him penalizing you on the aspects of games and sports. One very ideal activity for any candidate to indulge in is running. So, there is no special equipment required. One can run anywhere, any time of the day or night. Run long distance, improve your stamina, and run with timings. That is important. Every day you run, try and cut down your time. What I suggest normally to candidates is please run 5 kilometers every day and every day try to come down in your time. At the end of a certain time, you will find that your stamina is automatically improving. Ups, push ups, so that you improve your stomach and arm muscles. Now, knowledge of defense. It's important that you don't appear to be just a job seeker. If you are choosing a career in the armed forces, then it is mandatory for you to have some knowledge of the career which you are using or choosing. So, therefore, read about the Army, Navy, Air Force. You can go onto their internet sites. You can read from the Wikipedia. You can meet your friends who are serving in the armed forces. Get as much as information as possible out of them. You must know if you are an AFCAT student, the fighter aircraft available with us, the modernization going on, what the world is doing, how UAVs, fighters, air defense systems are being used in the Russia-Ukraine war, and any other such current battles which are ongoing. So it is important to keep updated both from the news and from the internet. Now it's important, simple questions like, where are the Army, Air Force or Navy commands, who are the chiefs, major equipment, armed and services within the branches, the CDS and role of CDS. This is important for any candidate from whichever background he is to prepare himself on. Now, as I said, your background, if it is weak, the interviewing officer is going to look at 6 or 7 factors which are going to determine that he gives you marks for trainability, and then you finally are recommended in your SSB result. The first is your OIR, which you did on the first day. If you get a good score, that helps. Then your insight into your strengths and weaknesses, your motivation. If your socio-economic background is weak and still you have done well in the interview, that will add to your marks. Your age, the younger you are, the more training. For example, an NDA candidate will undergo 4 years of training before becoming an officer. So therefore, this trainability of a youngster is higher. So if you are from NDA and your background is not so good, but still you have motivation, then your chances of success are higher if you do well in the end. and you will be given more marks for trainability. And if you have reached that good present level, maybe 10% below what is the others are doing, you will still get the credit for that, and still you will be recommended in the SSB if the board feels that you are highly trainable, and despite your background you have performed well. They will give you the trainability marks and make sure that you succeed, and the armed forces don't lose a good officer candidate. So remember, do not worry about your background. Endeavor to improve your performance. Work on your communication skills, work on your knowledge skills. Try to gather as much information as you can. And when you finally give the interview, come across as a knowledgeable person who is able to communicate decently well. Okay, I don't say like an English professor, but decently well. And your knowledge should do the rest and make an impact on the interviewing officer, who should feel that yes, despite coming from a deprived or poor socio-economic background, the candidate has still performed and has the capability to improve even further. So therefore, your chances of getting recommended will improve. Jai Hind. Thank you.